Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel, and today this is something different from my usual type of content. I know typically I talk about content creators or certain news topics that I genuinely find interesting, but if it isn't clear enough, I love playing video games. I mean, you're watching gameplay on the screen right now, and in today's video I want to talk about a certain game that has been having a great launch, but for some reason had an issue with its own team. And for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, I am talking about the game Marvel Rivals. If you play the game, you do know it's a hero shooter and it's pretty much just Overwatch but with Marvel characters. And ever since its initial launch back in December of last year, it's only been skyrocketing to new heights. In fact, it's pretty much recognized as the Overwatch killer since so many people are playing it right now. Like, it constantly averages about 500,000 concurrent players on Steam, which is just insane since not a lot of games can even do that. I, for one, play the game here and there. I'm not really a big fan of hero shooters anymore as much as I was when I was younger, but I still dabble in the game. It's a pretty good game. It's probably one of the better games that's out right now that's free to play. So if you haven't played the game, I highly recommend you actually download it and try it for yourself. But for today's video, we are going to be talking about more of the company behind the game itself, which is NetEase. Since what they did fairly recently shows a huge problem within the modern day gaming industry. Basically, what happened is that yesterday, NetEase decided to fire a whole branch within the western side of its own company that is in fact in charge of Marvel Rivals. What this means is that the whole branch that's located in the United States, because if you don't know, NetEase is a Chinese-based company, but the branch that is in charge of game development and game mechanics, overall just gameplay in general, and the lead director of that branch would even post a whole goodbye message to the company on his LinkedIn profile, which I'll show you guys that on the screen right now. But as you can see, the main director is severely surprised by the news. Even I was surprised by the news. I think everybody was surprised by this because Marvel Rivals is a really successful game. It's one of the most successful launches the gaming industry has had in such a long time, and the fact that we're seeing people being laid off for having a good game out to the public is honestly sad. Before I continue on with my whole thoughts on this and me reporting this, I would like to clarify that this is not the main director. The main director of NetEase that is in charge of Marvel Rivals still has his job, but they're located in China, like I mentioned before, and this is only affecting the western branch of the company. But like I said, this is just completely surprising because how are all these people that are contributing to such a successful launch of a game all getting fired? It doesn't really make much sense. You have to keep in mind, all these people put in their heart, soul, and tears into this game. It's one of the only games that I've witnessed where the developers actually give a fuck about the fans playing the game. I haven't seen so much care into a game like this in such a long time. In fact, I heard the other day that there's some issues with the whole competitive scene of Marvel Rivals. The fans were complaining, and then the next day they reverted the changes. When is the last time a company has ever done that? Like, nowadays, every AAA company is trying to cut corners, preserve money, make the game a whole money grab with microtransactions down your throat. Every time people complain about a certain change, they take like, what, a month, maybe like 2-3 months at times just to revert changes that people are genuinely complaining about. Like, they obviously don't give two shits about the game that they put out to the public. And I'm mainly looking at Activision Blizzard for this, bro. Like, Call of Duty is what, a $70 game, and there's so many issues it's having with its multiplayer, competitive scene, Warzone, even somewhat zombies. And yet, the only thing they bother fixing is the microtransactions, bro. How is it that I have to buy a whole separate event pass for a $70 game? For a game like Fortnite, it makes sense because it's free. So me purchasing something like an event pass is reasonable. But why is it that I have to keep paying Call of Duty, keep paying Activision more money, just to have the full experience of a game, bro? Like, that's ridiculous. Now, if I'm comparing this to Marvel Rivals, and the microtransactions in that game is fairly priced, bro. Now, if I'm comparing it to its competitor, Overwatch, every item in the item shop is so overpriced. Like, that was my biggest gripe with Overwatch 2, and that's the reason why I genuinely stopped playing, because to me it was just a cash grab, bro. All it was is a game just to run up your pockets, because that's what all Activision Blizzard cares about. Comparing this to fucking Marvel Rivals, where they genuinely care about the gameplay and how each hero is genuinely different and has unique and cool abilities, it's just a breath of fresh air. And seeing that people are losing their jobs because of this is genuinely sad. Like when Marvel Rivals came out, I genuinely gained hope again where gaming can go back to where it was. I remember back in the day, I didn't have to be forced into like paying so much money just to acquire the items in a game. Like I could just enjoy the game, unlock shit that I want to unlock and use it. Nowadays, it's like I have to spend another like 20-30 bucks for like a gun. Like, you don't see how stupid that is? This entire thing just worries me because it just opens the gateway into more people losing their jobs for a game that's genuinely bringing them success. Although this isn't the main team, it still worried me that tons of developers could potentially be losing their jobs just so this company could either preserve money or want to enforce other things into the game like microtransactions. Like that's the one big thing that I'm truly afraid of. NetEase would actually clarify everybody's worries though by having their spokesperson put out a full statement, and I'll read that to you guys now. We recently made the difficult decision to adjust Marvel Rivals development team structure for organizational reasons and to optimize development efficiency for the game. This resulted in a reduction of a design team based in Seattle that is part of a larger global design function in support of Marvel Rivals. We appreciate the hard work and dedication of those affected and will be treating them confidentially and respectfully with recognition for their individual contributions. We want to reassure our fan base that the core development team for Marvel Rivals, which continues to be led by lead producer Ri Kong-woo, I'm so sorry if I mispronounced your name, and game creative director Guan Yan Chen in Guangzhou, China. Once again, if I mispronounced your name, I'm so sorry. Remains fully committed to delivering an exceptional experience. We are investing more, not less, into the evolution and growth of this game. We're excited to deliver new superhero characters, maps, features, and content to ensure an engaging live service experience for our worldwide player base. To me, this is still a huge issue because, like they said, the team in Seattle was part of a larger global design function that helped the game. Now they don't have any US support that can help contribute what the US player base wants within the game. Like, I feel like that's a major problem that they're not really looking at. And in my opinion, I just feel like this statement's kind of bullshit. I don't understand how people like them are helping making the game thrive and they're not making it efficient. Like, I feel like all these developers contributed into making such an exceptional and phenomenal game, and you're punishing them for that? Like, that doesn't really make much sense. I know the end goal for Marvel Rivals is obviously to remain on top, to be really successful, and continue being one of the most successful games in the current era of gaming. And yet, you're firing the people that help contribute to that. Bro, that is just nonsensical. Like, I feel like any person in the right mind would let them continue to work on this game, bro. They had such a phenomenal connection with the US player base and reverted shit so fast. They fixed the game so fast when people complained. Like, I don't really understand why they don't want someone in charge of the US servers. And this is the issue I want to touch upon within this entire video. Like, I feel like these companies don't really take care of their developers. And that's the biggest problem within the modern day of gaming. Because these developers put so much hard work into the game, and just to lay them off like they did nothing is just kind of messed up for them and their families. To me, it just sounds like they're getting fired because they're trying to cut corners. And that's just not right, especially for a game like this where the budget should definitely be high, the strategy should definitely be talked about and always on point, and just the amount of people working on the game. Like, I don't really understand why they fired these individuals. Now, the community manager of Marvel Rivals would actually respond to the game director in the American department of NetEase being fired, and I'll read to you his statements now. Well, there's one thing that I would like to clarify. There's only one director, and that is Guang. I do not like false rumors being spread discrediting the work our team has poured in ever since development. Following up, let's not reach a conclusion on workplace harassment when you don't even know what the structure is like within the Rivals dev team. I'm simply saying this because it is phrased wrongly by the media initially. Totally funny. Yes, and expanding on the issue of whomever is worried that we would lose our Western audience touch, and our team has weekly meetings with the Marvel Rivals team every week and communicate on a daily basis. Y'all can go find interviews and articles. It's Marvel Rivals. I would suggest rather than spreading rumors or reaching conclusions, focus on what we have to deliver in a couple days. We have prepped really hard for the patch. These statements just honestly disregard the bigger picture, because he's not understanding that the reason why there's rumors about this whole laid off thing is because they're not really giving a great reason for it. One thing that I do find interesting is that apparently that the main director in the US branch of NetEase wasn't even a director in the first place. Now, if you're asking me, I don't really know if I believe that or I don't believe that. I feel like he probably was, he wasn't, I don't really know. So I feel like I'm leaving that up to you guys' interpretation. But the main thing I want to dive into about this response is that there's no clarification for anything. The main issue is that you just laid off a bunch of people from a game that's very successful, and the only reason why you guys say that is because they weren't sufficient enough for like the global part of the game. That doesn't even make sense, especially since the game is doing very well. Like, there is no reason why you would fire such a small team from a larger based company. Like, I don't really understand their mindset behind that, and that's the problem. They're not really giving a good reason why these people were laid off for quite literally no reason. It's like, I've never heard someone getting fired for doing good at their job. Like, imagine if construction workers, right? They build such a sturdy structure, like the Freedom Tower, for example. They built it, it's all perfect, they can never be taken down. And they get fired for building a great building. That doesn't even make sense. Like, well, you're not gonna pay them for building such a good building that's very sturdy and looks great to see? I've never even heard of that. Like, you know the perfect analogy for this? NetEase, right, is like a mother or like a father, and they see little Timmy, he got an A on his report card. Yay, it's amazing. You know, Timmy's proud. He's excited. He's ecstatic to see what his parents are gonna get him for it. And they literally bash him for getting an A. Like, dude, what? Like, you're literally yelling at the kid for doing good. That's what I feel. It feels like they just bashed on people for doing good at their job. I have never heard of that. And that's the problem with modern gaming, because I feel like a good reason why they got fired is because they needed cheaper workers, and you shouldn't be looking for cheaper workers if the workers you have already are doing amazing. And like, you know what I mean? Like, if these people do get replaced by cheaper individuals, that's gonna be a huge issue for the game. They should just focus on the people they already have hired, keep paying them more. If they want to raise, I mean, I understand you gotta like find a good amount of profit to give people a raise, but you have to understand this, bro. This is a huge game. They're probably making tons of money off just the microtransactions, and that's the problem, because we may never know how much money they're gaining from people buying the skins in the item shop. And maybe that was the reason why they had to fire people. They're just not giving a good reason why such a horrible thing happened. It just sucks, man. Like, I don't want to see people losing their jobs, having their families worried because they're excelling at the task that they're supposed to do. Like, it's kind of just sad. I'm just hoping that other game companies are looking at this and deciding that they have to be more communicative with their fans, providing better reasons why certain things are happening at the company or certain changes are happening within the game, and just provides a better understanding why they moved in certain ways, because this is just a big problem and a big miscommunication amongst the devs team, the NetEase team, and just people running behind Marvel Rivals, and the people who are actually playing it, as well as the people even working on it. It just sucks, man. But with that, this is the end of the video. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Comment down below on your thoughts regarding the whole situation between NetEase and the development team. This is your boy Jordan, talking about why the gaming industry needs a change, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.